a service of CNC Worldwide.
The Daily is a service of CNC News and Jib Jab Greetings. I'm Bud Lowell. Full AccuWeather forecast right across the top of every CNC local news page. Monroe County officials promised a major announcement about the Seneca Park Zoo. It's actually not that major in terms of physical size, but it's huge in zoological terms. The newest arrivals at the Seneca Park Zoo in Rochester are 2 lion cubs born March 7th at the Step Into Africa exhibit. 4 cubs were born to Asha and Chester, 2 of the lions that arrived at the zoo just last year. 2 failed to thrive. When Asha had problems caring for them, zoo officials consulted experts and reluctantly decided to take them away and hand-raise them. Ultimately, 2 cubs survived, and at 7 weeks and 10 pounds each, now they're thriving. Monroe County Executive Maggie Brooks says they were also sort of a surprise.
The cubs, 1 male, 1 female, were born to first-time parents Asha and Chester. They will reside in the zoo's Step Into Africa exhibit once they are ready to be on display, and Larry's going to talk a little bit more about that.
For now, the cubs are kept separately, but able to be nose-to-nose with their parents and with the zoo's other adult female lion through a fence. Zoo Director Larry Sorrell says they'll eventually be socialized together, and you'll be able to see the entire family 10 until 4 daily.
We've been bottle feeding for the last couple weeks. They've still got to put on some weight. They are transitioning onto a meat diet and becoming more and more lion-like.
Names? None so far. Probably there will be a naming contest. The new lions will live at the Seneca Park Zoo until they're fully matured. Eventually, they'll be matched with likely mates and be making long-term homes to start families in other zoos around the world. Rochester Congresswoman Louise Slaughter and fellow Democrat Steve Israel of New York City have an idea they say would boost America's lousy voter turnout numbers, move Election Day to the weekend. The 2 lawmakers have introduced a bill that would move Election Day from the first Tuesday in November to the first full weekend of that month. They say more people will vote if we make it more convenient. Only 47% of the eligible voters actually turned out for last fall's presidential election. Slaughter says having Election Day on a Tuesday is an outdated requirement that doesn't fit the schedules of modern Americans. The first Tuesday in November tradition isn't actually in the Constitution. It was set by Congress in 1845, and it suited the needs of an agrarian-based society. Back then, Tuesday was court day. It was the day when the land-owning farmers who did most of the voting would actually come to town to conduct business. Many may agree with Congresswoman Slaughter on this, but the government's own nonpartisan investigative arm does not, as it turns out. The Government Accountability Office, the GAO, studied alternative voting plans after the 2008 election. It concluded that weekend voting would create new and costly problems for election officials without greatly increasing voter turnout. New York's Attorney General says his office and the National Football League have reached agreement on protecting players from discrimination based on sexual orientation. Eric Schneiderman says his office began talks with league officials after news reports that at least 3 prospective NFL players were asked questions related to their sexual orientation. This was at the league's National Recruitment Combine in February. The NFL does have an anti-discrimination policy. Under the agreement with the AG's office, the league will post that policy in all the locker rooms, distribute it to the players, and conduct training sessions for all 32 teams to make sure it's being implemented. For salary level 1 employees at Eastman Kodak Company, this is the day you've been waiting for, Bonus Day, Thursday. For the first time in a while, most Kodak workers are getting the employee bonus. For non-management employees, it's 5.5% of their 2012 pay. Rochester Police Chief James Shepard said at a Wednesday news conference that this is the time of year when people start to hang out on the streets and crime starts to rise along with the temperatures. The chief said the city is putting Operation Impact into effect immediately. Rochester police officers will be moving people off corners, checking for guns, making more traffic stops. As the chief said, they'll be proactive in setting the tone and setting it early. In the Finger Lakes, members of a group that calls itself the Seneca Lake 12 were released from jail Thursday morning after serving 10 days of a 15-day sentence for trespassing. Sandra Steingraber of Trumansburg, Melissa Chipman of Hector, and Michael Deneen of Ovid were among a dozen people arrested March 18th. They blocked the entrance to the Entergy natural gas facility on Route 14 near Watkins Glen, protesting Entergy's plans to use the salt caverns under Seneca Lake as a storage facility for millions of gallons of natural gas and propane. All three, who are in their 50s and 60s, appeared in Reading Town Court earlier this month. They pleaded guilty but refused to pay fines, so Justice Raymond Berry ordered them jailed. 3 more members of the group are due to answer trespassing charges in Reading Town Court next week. The Energy Plan is a $40 million storage facility near 14 and 14A outside the Glen. It's currently under environmental review, and a group called Gas Free Seneca has organized to fight it. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office says a 44-year-old Caledonia woman has been charged after allegedly exchanging sexually explicit text messages with a minor. Deputies say Lisa Ann Shoemaker is charged with distributing indecent material to a minor and possessing an obscene sexual performance by a child. They say she exchanged pornographic texts, photos, and video with a 15-year-old boy. Shoemaker was arraigned in Ogden Town Court and released pending a future court date. An order of protection has been issued for the child. To the left of the player window, you'll find links to these and other stories. At the bottom of the page, links you can use to post news and information directly to us. Got some great cell phone video? Let us know, share the YouTube link, or post it to us. Next news is as it happens, updates are as necessary, and I'm Bud Lowell, CNC News.